Okay. So today we're going to be learning about Ruby bridges. Okay. What do you know about Ruby bridges?
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
Okay. So our standard is to read about and describe the life of historical figures in American history. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify the contributions made by these figures, but instead we're just going to focus on Ruby bridges. And we're also going to create works of art based on selected themes, so we're going to use pictures to tell a story about someone. Okay? Alright. Do you know what the month of February is?
Yeah.
You know what we celebrate in the month of February?
Valentine's Day.
Yes. Keep thinking. You know this. Black History Month. Okay? So now we're going to watch this little clip. If it ever decides to load. And after we watch this clip, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, okay? Let me start it over. So this is a video of a clip from a Ruby Bridges movie. They have a Ruby Bridges movie on Disney Plus. It's really cool. But this is Ruby Bridges. That's her little girl. Okay. So, we watched that video, and that was Ruby Bridges. What do you think's happening in that video?
Like, President of the United States was trying to let her go, but other people just wanted right away.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Alright, now we're going to go over some vocabulary so I can help you understand it, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to fold this hamburger style, so it's going to look like this. And then we're going to write some
How do
vocabulary.
you do it?
Alright, so you're going to fold it. I'll fold this up
I
like
know.
that.
I've folded a card before.
Make it even. Make sure it's even. There you go. Good. Here, I'll hold that down for you so you can fold it. Now just crease it.
That's not even. I folded a card before.
Here, look, do this. And then I'll let you fold it. How about that? I'll make it even and you can fold it.
It's not even.
Now crease it. Crease it down the back. It's okay if it's not even. Alright. Now we're going to fold these two pieces of paper just like that. Okay? Can you do it? You can do it.
Mhm.
If this one's easier to fold. That was hard to fold.
Because it's just like construction paper.
So fold it just like that again. And we're going to put it in here and make a little book.
I'm gonna flip it to see if it's even.
I'm good. There you go. Here, now put it. Now let's see. Oh, I'm gonna open this one up, and you're gonna put it. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Mine's not very even either. All right. So if I have stapler, we would staple it, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. So I want you to go get some of your markers and crayons, and you can write Ruby Bridges on the front. You can draw some pictures on the front. Right there, baby, in the drawer.
I'm supposed to have like some school markers. I have like some school markers.
Just use these. It's okay.
Caroline found a silly scent marker.
So you see how I wrote on the top, I wrote Ruby Bridges and then wrote vocabulary on this note? That's exactly what I want you to do. You can draw a bubble, you can draw a box, you can do whatever you need to do, okay? Make it pretty, make it yours. I did purple because is purple not your favorite color? Is it purple?
Purple is my second favorite color.
Okay.
And blue is my first favorite color.
I'll have to remember that. No,
It's turning out.
it's alright.
I'll try green up.
Yeah, use the other side of it. There you go.
That's better.
That is better. Alright. You can write Ruby Bridges in there for me? I made this last night when I was watching a movie.
What movie?
I was watching Jerry Maguire. Good. Good. And you don't have to write vocabulary unless you want to, but I do want you to write your name on there. I wrote mine with colored pencils because I couldn't find our markers. I don't know where they were.
No, I'm gonna write with blue.
What?
Do you think blueberry or lollipop? Blueberry or lollipop?
Try blueberry. It might show up better. Because the lollipop's close to the purple color. Sort of.
Yeah, it's close.
Good. Alright, now I want you to write by Georgia.
I wrote my Y just like yours.
I know, I love it.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
No, pumpkin pie. I'm gonna do it with pumpkin pie.
Okay.
Wait. I put the top. I mixed the tops. I did that to like Caroline. Like she would be like, "How is this?"
That's funny.
Ice cream. It's ice cream. This one is ice cream. Smell it. It doesn't even smell like ice cream.
No, it doesn't. It
Ice
smells
cream
like
doesn't-
vanilla.
Yeah. It smells like vanilla.
Good job.
I'm just used to putting.
It's okay.
I'm just used to putting E because in my class there's another Georgia.
It's there.
Mhm.
Alright, now
So
what
I
we're
just have
gonna
to
do.
put E at everything. Then.
Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a page and we're gonna write definitions. But I'm gonna write the definitions on here so you can see them, okay? So let me write this first. And you can write it with a marker, you can write it with a crayon, you can do whatever you want to do.
We don't have colored pencils, I don't think.
I didn't write those with colored pencils. I wrote with a marker.
I don't think we have colored pencils.
You write with a marker too. So I'm gonna
I
write
only
the
have
word.
one colored pencil. What? All the crayons fell out of this. This had 96 crayons in it. 96 crayons. Now, 0. How am I dumped out all the crayons? You think pink or blue?
Blue.
Yeah, I think blue too. This was actually something that I got from my birthday.
Oh.
My 6th birthday. It's like a purse that you can color. It's like a purse that you can color on.
Oh, that's cool. Alright, so write this word on the first page.
Right
And then
here.
there's the definition.
Right here.
See how I wrote it like this? And then wrote the definition underneath it? I'm gonna go ahead and write the other one too.
What if it bleeds through?
It's okay. Mine bled through too. But there's that one, so you can write that one.
I think it's better.
Ah, smart.
But I just need something to put under it. I'll just put like under a workbook that I haven't been using. I'll just put. This is my training box.
There you go.
I don't want it to bleed through. I don't want it to bleed. So I'm gonna do this. That's a lot of words.
I know it is. But it's gonna help you later.
It's making a lot of noise. It's making a lot of noise.
Mine makes a lot of noise too. Did you know what that word meant? Have you ever heard of that word before?
Was that good?
Yeah, that looks good.
Synchronization.
Do you know how to say that word? This one?
Yeah, segregation.
Segregation. It's okay, you're close. Segregation.
Shin. It doesn't even.
I
I
know.
feel like it was like your first time reading it, and you'd be like tin. You'd be like tin. Like tion. Tion.
Alright, write it down.
It didn't bleed through to the other page.
Good.
So I'm doing this. Segregation?
Segregation.
Segregation.
The separation.
Separation
Of racial groups in. You're doing good.
I'm just rubbing it and it's kind of coming off. But it didn't even get on my finger.
Good.
You're supposed to use this on a purse. It's like a my look. Like it has like emojis on it. And I colored it with these.
That's cool.
They gave you like more than just one. They gave you like 7 markers to color with.
Alright, in a community country.
Oh, I need to put comma.
Or yeah, there's a comma after that. Community, country, comma, or establishment. It's a big word, isn't it? I'm gonna go ahead and write one more and then we'll stop after you write 3 words.
Is that good?
That looks really good. I want you to write this next definition instead of that one.
What am I supposed to do?
Alright, so we're gonna write this one, this definition right here.
Interrogation?
It's integration. Okay.
I always thought that's an interrogation.
It's close. Alright, you ready?
I'm just gonna do this because I don't want it to get.
That's fine. That's fine. Integration.
Oh, that's not very long.
No, that's why we're gonna write that one. And that's the most important word that we're gonna learn about. Good. Alright. Ready?
Yeah.
When. No, my wind's not very pretty, is it?
When
Separate. People.
are brought together?
Yes. Good job.
That's the only brought together were the only 2 words that I was thinking of. I need to see it.
There you go.
I feel like those are like finish it kind of.
Yeah,
Like
it's
in
okay.
books, they would just do like
Yeah, that's fine.
that.
If you run out of room, that's fine.
I guess I'll have to use that because look again.
That's okay. Good. Make sure you put a period at the end, because it is a sentence. Alright, so let me see this. So now, if we were really in class, we would finish the book, but that would take forever. So, now that you have this, you have some vocabulary, and like when you see the words on the PowerPoint, you can go back and look at them, and it'll help you know what they mean. Okay?
It's a PowerPoint.
So she made this booklet. Okay. PowerPoint. This is PowerPoint, what we've been looking at. Alright. So, let's talk about who Ruby Bridges was, okay?
I'm gonna put the capital.
She was the first African American child to attend an all-white public elementary school in the South after the Supreme Court case Brown versus Board of Education ended segregation in public schools. So, the Brown versus Board of Education was a court case that allowed white people and white people to be in the same place, in the same school, because during this time period, in Ruby Bridges' time period in the 1960s,
They had to go in separate schools.
they did. That's crazy, isn't it? So the main thing that occurred in her lifetime was when 6-year-old Ruby Bridges was escorted through a mob of screaming segregationists to her school. So think about that. She was in the 1st grade like you are, and she had to go to a school. It's scary, isn't it? For people that didn't want her there. Alright, so we're going to talk about what was going on in the 1960s. So there's a picture right here. You see they had separate water fountains. They couldn't even drink from the same water fountains.
What does her colored only mean?
So it means, so in the 1960s, that's what African Americans, that's what they called them. Colored people. It's not very nice, is it?
Like my skin is white.
Mm-hmm. So you would drink
I
off
have
of the white one.
2 friends that I have 2 friends that are like African Americans. Elisa and Frances.
Yeah,
Because
well
they have
imagine,
black skin.
but imagine if they weren't in your school. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Because only having like white people in your school would be crazy.
Okay. So segregation was going on in the 1960s, and we talked about that. It's the separation of different racial groups in a country, community, or establishment. And we're going to talk about what Brown versus Board of Education was. So this is when they went to the Supreme Court and they ruled that racial segregation of children in public schools was unconstitutional. So they wanted African Americans and white people to be in the same school because they thought it was unfair.
Like the black people?
They wanted them both to be in the same school because it's not fair for them to have different schools. Because in some cases, like in Ruby Bridges' school, the school that was all white, it was closer to her home. And the school that was all black was farther away from her home.
So she had to go to...
So she had to drive farther to go to an all black school. So this was one of the major cornerstones of the Civil Rights Movement. So look at the pictures. See, people did not like it.
What does race mix mean?
So it means like putting white people and black people in the same place. Because in the 1960s, they didn't believe in that. They didn't want people to be together. Alright, so then there was Jim Crow laws. So these were state and local laws that enforced racial segregation in the southern United States. And all these were enacted in the late 19th and early 20th centuries by white Democrat-dominated state legislators after the Reconstruction period. These laws were enforced until 1965. And these laws kept African Americans from voting, using the same public places as white people, different schools, and transportation. So basically, if you were black, you had to use a different train, because they rode trains back in that day, and you had to ride in the back of the bus. You couldn't ride in the front of the bus.
Like the Rosa Parks.
Yes, Rosa Parks is part of this.
She said no. She didn't. She would not get.
She did. Like in the restrooms, they had white and then they had black, and it was really bad in Alabama and Georgia. Alabama and Georgia were two of the main states where it was really bad, and Mississippi. Okay, so now we're going to talk about this.
Mississippi is a state. I thought Mississippi was a country.
It's a state. Alright, so Ruby Bridges was the first African American to go to elementary school with all white children. She attended a school in Louisiana. Do you know where Louisiana is on this map? If you can figure it out?
Right there.
Good job, high five. So the school was called William Frantz
It's
Elementary
because I
School.
do like a puzzle and like I always see that
Arkansas? This is the boot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like a boot.
Yeah. I remember that looks like a boot.
So when Ruby first attended the school, the white parents took their children out of the school. So she was the only person in her class for a whole year. It was her and just her teacher, Miss Henry. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so that's Ruby now with her teacher, and that's her teacher in the 1960s, and that's Ruby. They're still really good friends now. Alright, so we're gonna look at this. So basically what this is a timeline, and it shows different pictures that were
I know what
recorded.
a timeline is. A timeline tells you like when you were like born and then to when you passed away.
So there's a picture of Ruby when she was your age.
She was like 6.
And then here's a picture of what was going on. So here's the water fountains where they had to be separate. And then see, like, here's a waiting room for the bus. You can see that says Chattanooga. So they had a black waiting room and a white. Isn't that insane? And then here's baseball teams that were segregated. And then here's a classroom. See, it was only black. And then this is Brown versus Board of Education. So this is basically, these are the Supreme Court justices that got the schools to be integrated, which means they let both white and black be in the school.
My mom has a friend too. My mom has a friend too who is my mom has a friend who is a Supreme Court justice.
Oh, cool.
Teeny. Who's Teeny? Do you know justice.
See, and then here's the people protesting.
I'm gonna be a Supreme Court justice when I grow up.
I know you
That
are.
means I like it.
That's her school
Mama.
picture.
But my mom's a like Supreme Court justice.
Mm-hmm.
They get to like choose. They get to like choose the laws.
Mm-hmm. That's right. There she is walking into her school. See? Alright. So now I've got another video. And this is going to tell you all about Ruby's life. This one's really cool. I like this one. If it ever was. There it goes.
No, it didn't.
Oh, it's an ad.
It's just a straight one.
She became a leader in the civil rights movement at just 6 years old. Meet Ruby Bridges. Ruby grew up in New Orleans. Her parents, sharecroppers from Tylertown, Mississippi, moved there in the late 50s in search of a better life. The racially divided city had been ordered to integrate its public schools. Ruby would be the first and only black student to attend William France Elementary. November 14, 1960 would be Ruby's first day. Federal marshals escorted her to school past the throngs of protesters. Teachers at the school refused to instruct her, and parents kept their children at home until the school provided a separate classroom for white students.
I actually attended
That's her.
this all-white school alone for a whole year. I sat in an empty classroom with a teacher that was white, who came from Boston to teach me because teachers in New Orleans refused to teach black children.
Meanwhile, Ruby didn't miss a day of school that year. In 1996, she was reunited with her teacher, Barbara Henry.
It was so wonderful to have a little student like Ruby. We had a great time together, right? Like side by side, and just the two of us.
Ruby's courage inspired Norman Rockwell to feature her in this iconic painting, which Barack Obama hung outside the Oval Office in 2011.
Oh, Barack Obama. Barack Obama.
Once I saw that painting, I
This
realized
one's
that
Obama.
there was something
Isn't that cool?
much bigger than myself. So I think that sort of put me on my quest to tell my story and to work with kids.
Today, Ruby travels the country speaking to young people, inspiring them, and sharing her truth, which is as relevant today as it was in 1960.
Cool, right?
She became a leader in the civil rights movement at just 6.
Really cool.
Well, she's not my age because I'm 7.
No, I know. But she basically is.
Kinda.
Alright, so what'd you think? Yes,
I
that was
like
you. So what'd you
Why
think?
did he change it? It used to be like
Basketball player?
Yeah.
Mhm. So what'd you think about Ruby Bridges?
I want to finish it.
Okay, no, we've got something else to do. I know, boo. But this is actually fun. Okay. So you're gonna do this. So what you're gonna do is you are gonna pretend that you are Ruby Bridges. So you're gonna write 4 sentences describing what is happening at your new school using 3 vocabulary words from your booklet. And I'll let you use mine since you didn't finish yours, okay? And after this, you're gonna get to draw a picture to describe what you wrote. Okay? Think you can do that? I think you can do that. So you remember you gotta use 3 vocabulary words. And here's mine. You want me to read you mine?
Yes.
I wrote more than 4 sentences because I forgot to use my vocabulary words. Okay, so I said, my school is now integrated. All of my friends are gone. I am scared because segregation is going on outside of my school. I'm scared that no one will ever come back to my new school. My once public school is empty. It is just me and my teacher. What do you think? I didn't draw a picture because I can't draw. So
That is crazy. Everybody can draw.
I cannot draw. So look through my booklet.
Then
Right,
try to
me.
draw a penguin.
How about this? Instead of writing 4 sentences, since this is like a mini lesson, let's write 2 sentences. Can you write 2 sentences and just use one of your vocabulary words in one of your sentences? How about that? Because we're almost done, but we're not done yet. Do you want to use my Sharpie? It's purple.
Not tell mom that I used the
I'll
Sharpie.
tell your mommy.
What should I say?
I don't know. Think about it. Look through my booklet and see if you can. And you can look at mine. That'll help you. Don't copy it, but you can look at it.
Can I just do like 2 of these sentences?
Yeah, just do 2 sentences. But just make sure they're yours and not mine, okay? Yeah, don't be
I
stealing my
can't.
sentences. You can do it.
I can't think of anything.
I'll help you. Okay, let's brainstorm.
I
So,
don't know how to brainstorm.
yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, no.
Alright, so you're Ruby Bridges. How do you feel? You feel scared? You feel brave? How do you feel? If you were Ruby Bridges, how would you feel?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
I think you would feel scared, wouldn't you? I would be scared. So you could say, I'm scared because scared. You know how to spell it, you can do it. Because
I'm filled up with how Caroline.
remember, the more focused you are, the quicker this gets done. I am scared. What's going on in your new school? Think about what I wrote. Look at what I wrote. I am scared because my new school is integrated. No, you used vocabulary words. My. Is this your second sentence? Then you're done. Almost. Is you can do it. Integrated. Integrated. Make sure you underline that word because that's a vocabulary word. Good. Period. Picture period. There you go. Alright.
I'm gonna be blind.
Nice. Oh.
I'm gonna tell you that it was my look. I have a my look.
Alright. Now we're gonna play this cool game on my computer. Yeah. Have you ever played Kahoot before?
What?
Kahoot? You ever played Kahoot before? No?
I have computer class, but
You don't play Kahoot?
No.
No? Okay, well we're gonna play Kahoot real quick. Who's that?
Me.
Alright, so let's play some Kahoot.
it says saved animals. Look, make sure it says saved animals.
I see that.
It's because all of these animals are being poached.
Oh, that's sad.
And we need the animals.
We do need the animals. Okay. There's only 5 questions, so it's not bad.
Classic. Kahoot.
Alright.